Good afternoon, everybody. MG here, MGCovers, bringing you a brand new handicapping video. Title of this video is How Much Money Did I Make Wagering on Sports for the First 60 Days of 2021. Before we dive into that, let's talk about social media. If you want to follow me there, you get a lot of content, a lot of value simply by following me on social media. MGCovers, that's covers spelled with a Z. Instagram, I put out a lot of tips, line movement, things that I see in the marketplace that would benefit you by simply just following me. MGCovers, covers spelled with the Z. Same screen name on Twitter as well. If this is your first time here on YouTube, love to have you as a subscriber. If you want to learn the sports betting business and you want the absolute unadulterated 100% truth about how this business actually works, subscribe to the channel. There's a lot of good content on whatever sport that you're interested in, whether it be soccer, basketball, NFL, etc. So I have a lot of content here, and thanks to all those people that have subscribed here recently. Without any further ado, let's dive right into our record for February. This is sort of a recap. If you remember last month, we were 46% win percentage, but yet still turned a significant profit, $4,300, 4.3 units. This month, we were 57 and 53, had a little bit higher win percentage, 52%. And our year-to-date profit is $8,024. That's what I personally made wagering on sports for the first 60 days. Whether you're impressed with that number or not, that is what it is. One unit for me is $1,000. So we've actually made 8.024 units times 1,000 yields a profit year-to-date of $8,024. Now, if you scroll down to the bottom of this, because you might be, if you're watching this for the first time and say, how can you turn that kind of profit only hitting 52% winners? It is because we cashed 32 money line dogs in February. We had a great February. And what I'm going to show you in this video, rather than just ramble off a bunch of stats, I'm going to actually show you some examples of why my approach to sports betting, sports wagering is probably far better than what you traditionally hear when people talk about sports betting in terms of turning a profit. If you're familiar with that 52% percentage, it's often talked about in the sports betting community as that's the break-even point. And that's true if you're wagering, if your juice you're paying on each play is minus 110. In order to break even, you have to hit about 52% of your wagers. To cut a decent profit, you need about 53 to 55% win percentage in order to turn a profit. My approach is completely different. I understood this years ago and early on in my sports betting career that if you play money line dogs, it offers you a ton of more value and it decreases that win percentage down to where you can hit considerably less and still make a nice profit. Now, also too, if you want to see this entire log, there's a link in the description box, or if you're watching this for the first time, want to keep watching it and go directly to the site, you can go to MGCovers.com. Go over to the right, you'll see something that says betting log. It breaks down all of my plays. You have to scroll down a little bit till you see the start of this month for February, and you can scroll down. It shows all the plays I played, the exact amount unit size that I had, and whether that was a win or a loss. And also too, you can go to sportswatchmonitor.com. That is the monitoring service I use. They're out of Las Vegas, probably the most reputable monitoring service in the industry today. And if you don't know what a monitoring service, very simply, I have to send them my plays before the game starts, and after the game starts and the game is over, they reveal, hey, these are MGCovers plays for today, and you can verify that with what I'm saying that I won. So if somebody says, hey, I won a plus 230 dog, which I'm going to show you a little bit later in the show, you'll be able to go to their website and verify that. All right, so I want to make this productive and just break down a few specific examples from the month. Now, this was from 2/26, and what I do every day, I've done this for years. This is sort of, it's just the way that I handicap. I like doing it this way. I actually physically write down all of the games with value via my power rankings. So for the most part, I will not play a game unless I have value. And you can see there, I do that for NHL, NBA, NCAA basketball. Now, this particular day, this is a great example of showing you how I wager versus the way the majority of people approach sports betting. Not to say that it's wrong. I just believe the way that I do it and the way that I teach my clients to do it is a far easier way to turn a profit, because it's not about wins and losses. It's about structuring your card and the approach you have to sports betting that's going to give you the best opportunity to yield a profit. And the example I talked about earlier, if you're playing minus 110 odds, if you're playing all spreads, then yes, you have to hit about 53 to 55% winners in order to turn a profit. Whereas the way that I approach sports betting, I just made a video about this, or I made several videos about this, but I'm going to show you some actual examples, and specifically this day here, February the 26th. Now, I handicap all these games. If it's a no play, I just cross through it. If it's a potential play, I put a star next to it. That generally means I'm checking for injuries, or I'm watching line movement, etc. Now, what I want you to look at, if you scroll down here where it says NCAA basketball, see I had that Missouri State -5. I had that circled. That was actually the first game that I had for that day. Missouri State -5. Missouri State won. Now, this is real important. The other three plays I have for the day, if you look up there where it says NHL, I had the LA Kings +155. This is important. I had them at +155. It's a money line play. You can see there I had OKC and NBA. I didn't play them on the spread. I played them on the money line, which I think you'll see it here in a second. I think it was +175 or +180. That's important. And then if you look over in the top right there, it says, my handwriting's terrible, I know, that's actually South Alabama +2.5. We played them on the money line, and they were +120. Now, here's the point I want to make. We had 4 plays total, right? We won the Missouri State game. So we're 1 up. And we'll just make this simple. We'll just pretend it's $100 for each game, okay? Just so you can understand the math, it's easier to explain that way. So we'd won 100. Now we have 3 plays pending. This is the beautiful thing about my approach to sports betting. We have 3 money line dogs left that are pending. We only need to win 1 of those to turn a profit. I'm going to repeat that. We only need to win 1 of the next 3 games in order to turn a profit. And how this played out, we lost the LA Kings game, we lost the South Alabama game, but we actually won the OKC game, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. So therefore, it was a profitable day. If you want to do the math, I'll tell you what, let me just pull this up so we can see it. Okay, that was the Missouri State game. We won that one. So that was a win. And let's pull up the OKC. And that was 180. So we won OKC. Now let's just do the math real quick. So we won Missouri, so that's +100. We won Oklahoma City, so that was +180. So now we've won 280, right, for a $100 player. And we lost the other 2, so that'd be -200. So 280 minus 200 is $80 profit based on a $100 example. So we went 2 and 2. We won 2 and lost 2, and we're still profitable. Now here's the point I want to make. The traditional way of wagering, if you have 4 plays and they're all spreads, the only way, I'm going to repeat this, the only way you can turn a profit is you have to win 3 out of those 4. You have to win 3 out of 4. And that's not MG talk. That's not me trying to convince you to become a client. That's a statistical fact. If you have 4 spread plays, okay, if you go 2 and 2, you didn't break even because you paid juice on the 2 losses, right? Whatever that, if they're 110, that means you lost 220. And if you won 2, that means you won 200. 200 minus 120, you're in the whole -120. Whereas we went 2 and 2 and were able to profit. And this is so important. Again, I'm going to repeat this. If you play spreads and you just have 4 plays on your card, you have to win 75% of your games on that specific card in order to be profitable. That is very difficult to do, my friends. Very difficult to do. And that is why the majority of people in this business, that even at a professional level and even amateur level and everybody in between, lose money. Majority of people that engage in this business or try to do this business end up losing money and are not profitable. And again, the way that my approach is obviously not the only way. You can still do it that way. There are people that are successful that way, but for me, I choose to do it this way, to play money line dogs. Now again, I'm not just randomly, arbitrarily picking money line dogs. The Oklahoma City game, I think I should have screenshotted this as well, but I think my power rankings had OKC favored by, I think it was -6. It might even have been -8. Close game, but they did win on the money line. So again, I'm not just arbitrarily, hey, I'll play this particular one. I'm making sure that I have value via my power rankings. And then, of course, I'm handicapping these games situationally as well, which I teach if you're a client, and have a ton of videos on that as well. But again, the major takeaway in this is that I went 50% and was able to turn a profit, whereas if you'd have played these games, I mean, obviously the NHL, you can't play that on the spread. That's just a money line. But still, the point is I went 2-2, 50%, and still turned a profit. So let's take a look. That was February the 26th. And again, I think this is another great example. This is from Saturday, February the 27th. Again, you can see my sheet. Pretty messy, but if you look at the plays, and when I write it down, I don't ever write down the money line. I always write down the spread because I want to see the line movement. You can see here I had Illinois. I played Illinois. It says +5. We actually played them on the money line. Oklahoma State, played Oklahoma State on the money line. Western Illinois at +9.5. We actually played Western Illinois. I actually did play the spread here because I can't remember the team they were playing. But they had like a 10-2 record at home, so it was smarter to play them to take the points in that scenario. And if you look at NHL, we had Ottawa +138, Edmonton +102, New York Islanders, I think they were -111. Again, the same exact thing happens here. We went 3-3. We won all 3 basketball plays, lost all of our NHL plays. So we went 3-3, yet we were able to turn a really nice profit because we played 2 of those basketball plays on the money line. And you'll see here, okay, there was Illinois. I say in Illinois. We had Illinois +175. They beat Wisconsin. That was a winner there. And then there's the Western Illinois play. Again, I played it on the spread, +9.5. And then the big winner there was Oklahoma State +230. And a quick lesson on that particular game, they were playing their rival, but just hypothetically, obviously Oklahoma State's a very good basketball team, and I like creating these hypothetical situations. Let's just say someone went to you, a sports book, and they said, hey, I'll give you Oklahoma State, +230. I'm not going to tell you who they're going to play. You have to make a decision in 5 seconds. Every sharp, myself included, would take that play because at the time they were like 15-5. Yeah, I think that was a record. They're a good basketball team, and you're getting +230. It's really a no-brainer. And then even after hypothetically I placed that wager under that hypothetical scenario, and you told me, hey, they're playing Oklahoma, their rival, but they're actually on the road, that's still a good wager because the way that I handicap moneyline dogs, obviously we had Oklahoma State. I think we had Oklahoma State via my power rankings -4. So it was a good wager. I want to make sure I have at least a 50% chance of winning this game. And if you're watching this video, you might be saying, well, hey, you could have easily lost that game that went to overtime. That's exactly my point. It was what I call a 50-50 game. Earlier in the week, we lost 2 games very similar to this one in overtime. So when they're 50-50 games where either team can win, and I realize I'll probably win 50% of these games, the value will be with the dog, because the ones that I do win, like this one, that's plus 230. So if we add this up, we won Illinois, that was plus 170. We won Oklahoma State, that was 230. That right there is, based on that $100 example, that's 400, right? Plus the Western Illinois game, we won that one. That was a spread. That would be 500. And then we lost our 3 NHL plays. 500 minus 300, we yield a profit of $200 based on the $100 example. So again, another example of going 3 and 3, 50%, yet still turning a profit. Again, there's a lot of ways that you can approach sports betting. This is the way that I do it. This is the way that I teach. And I firmly believe this is a lot easier way to approach this business. Now, again, like I mentioned earlier, you can't just randomly, arbitrarily decide, oh, I'm going to play this dog, or, okay, MG said play this on the money line. No. You have to have value, which I never play a game unless I have value. That particular example, I had Illinois favored. No, I think Illinois was even. My power rankings were even, which means that favors the underdog, right? And I do believe Oklahoma State was favored. So we have to have value via my power rankings. And then, of course, I handicap the game situationally, meaning I check for injuries, I watch line movement, a couple other things as well to assure me that the wager that I'm placing is a good wager. And you can see long term, this is a very, very, very effective strategy. Again, this month, we basically doubled what we had made from previous month. I think we're at 4.3 units last month, and now we're here at 8 units, so almost doubled. And again, only hitting we were 46% last month, win percentage-wise, 52 this month. So what's that average out to? Like 48%, 49%, 50% winners. And again, I'm trying to win every single wager that I place, but I am realistic to realize that's not going to happen. But still, by playing the value gives me that advantage, especially when playing money line dogs. So anyway, hopefully that video helped. You got a lot of value out of that. If you want to subscribe to the same exact power rankings that I use to make my wagers, you can do that for $29 a month. Very inexpensive. You get access to all of my NBA power rankings, all of my college basketball power rankings, as well as NHL and soccer. If you want to get all of that in addition to all of my plays for all sports, that is $49.95 per month. And if you want to join for an entire year, which means you get everything, that would normally be $600. If you prepay it basically for the entire month, it's only $299. So anyway, hopefully you liked that video, and here is a peace sign for a profitable March, and we will talk to you guys soon. Peace.